I was an altar boy. So I went to Sacred Heart for 8 years. And I was an altar boy. Oh, and Father Manny shows up in '78, and he starts a youth group. He said he wants to get all the kids together to get them more involved. And he kept bugging me to come watch a movie with the youth group, and I didn't want anything to do with it. But I figured he was bugging me so much. I figured, well, I'll go once, and then the guy will leave me alone, which was my big mistake. And then so we get back to the rectory at Sacred Heart, and it's just me. And then he puts on the Exorcist movie, and then during this movie, I'm sexually assaulted. But then I didn't remember it for 14 years, which is strange. It's kind of like, since I didn't, this is what the psychiatrist said, because it happened when I was 14, and then I didn't deal with it, or it didn't come into my conscious till I was 28, that a part of me was left behind back there. You know what I mean? And sometimes it comes back if I get really upset. At first I was so upset that I wanted to go up there and do something, but everyone talked to me. All my friends and family said, no, just get a lawyer, and because you're just going to end up in jail if you go up there. So I got the lawyer, and then, I suffer from depression, post-traumatic stress, which anxiety. So we both testified, and then there was a 6-person jury. I got awarded the $850,000, and then after the trial was over, the judge overturned the decision. I was at work, and my girlfriend called me on the phone at work, and she said, "Did you read the paper today?" And I said, "No, I haven't had a chance to read the paper." And he says, "Oh man, you got to read the paper." So I pulled up the paper online and I started reading it. And at first I was in shock because it was the exact same story that I had like 20 years ago. And then everybody in my cube thought somebody had died because I guess the blood rushed out of my face, and I was kind of out of it for a while. And then after the initial shock of reading it, well, I emailed you or called you. And then I was like, it was like it happened to me again, like I had won somehow. So I was super happy. I'm happy for Andy and Attorney Reardon that they got the settlement. But then over the last few weeks, everyone keeps asking me, "Hey, why didn't you get your money?" You know, and then that started eating at me over time. In 2002, I sent a letter. Well, the judge is the one that kind of, I don't want to get too into that, because I had sent the judge a letter saying that she screwed me out of the 800,000, and the FBI showed up at EB and said, "Hey, don't write any more letters." And then after that, they took my clearance at EB. In 2007, I would surf the net on occasion to see if anything was going on with Mr. Manny or anything else happened. And I noticed the Edmundites run St. Michael's up in Colchester, Vermont, and they have a Peace and Justice Committee. So I said to myself, well, that's what I've been looking for this whole time, so maybe I should talk to them, and these are the people that are running it. So I mean, maybe they'll listen to me up there. And then I called them, and they said, "Well, we don't want you coming up here." And I said, "Well, I'm coming up anyway." And then I drove up there, and I was arrested by the Colchester, Vermont police for unlawful trespass. Even though I never made it on the property, I just pulled off the exit ramp and was arrested. I think that it's only fair, just compensation, that I get paid my settlement just like Andy or anybody else has gotten. I mean, Mr. Manny, one, he should have been arrested back in the 70s. The people that moved him around should have been arrested. God knows why they weren't. And I've been to the police, and they said, well, the statute of limitations has run out. I mean, I called the Groton police, the state police, the FBI, Vermont police, Burlington police, the Vermont state police, but that hasn't gotten anywhere. People should realize the same people that are baptizing your kids and giving you first communion and having you get married and saying your parents' funeral, they're the same people that are sexually abusing your kids and let them get away with it all these years. And if you're going to church and giving them money, then you're somehow condoning this. I'm hoping by doing this, more people will come out, because I've talked to, I mean, we're talking like the gymnast case with the Nasser guy. Instead of 2 people, if we could get 200 people to come forward in 3 different towns, 2 different countries, then I think, because the church, I mean, they don't want to give up money, but to have that many people come forward, there's no denying things when you have 200 people.